3 weeks in New York City at the United Nations, speaker after speaker, from Mr. Khrushchev on, have spoken about the evils of colonialism. The Soviet Union today is the greatest colonial master in the world, and until they are ready to permit the people of Eastern Europe to have free elections and a free choice, then they stand indicted before world opinion. But in my visit in 1955, I visited Częstochowa and saw the Matka Boska and saw the free spirit of Poland. I think Poland will someday be free, but Poland will be free as long as we in the United States and all who believe in the cause of freedom maintain our conviction. I am a descendant of Irishmen who were under servitude and domination for 700 years. The Polish people will remain free as long as we are free, as long as we believe in their freedom. The Polish national anthem says, "As long as you live, Poland lives." As long as we in the United States retain our conviction that someday not only will we maintain our freedom, but others shall also be free. Whether they live in Latin America, whether they live in Africa, whether they live in Asia, whether they live in Europe, or wherever they may live, they shall be free. That is the policy. This country's freedom was won by us, by the people of this country, and people who came from Europe, including distinguished Poles who came here to fight for freedom. The United States Congress gave those people who came to this country each a bequest, each an award. And Kosciuszko, who was the most celebrated of all of them, when he died, he left his entire American state, all the property he had in this country, to Thomas Jefferson. For what reason? To free the slaves. He believed that he could not be free until all men were free. And that is what we believe here today. Thomas Jefferson called the disease of liberty will be catching. Other people know that until we have been destroyed, their chance of independence is good. The reason the communists attack us is because they know when the United States fails, the cause of freedom fails. But as long as we maintain our strength, as long as we identify ourselves with the cause of independence, with the cause of liberty for ourselves and others, we in our generation can do for Poland what Kosciuszko and Pulaski and the others did for us in 1776. You cannot possibly maintain your families unless you get a decent education. You cannot possibly live in decent homes unless you're treated fairly in securing a decent job. As it is now, the first to be fired at the time a recession comes are mostly those who are Negroes, because they haven't had a chance to finish school and because they haven't had a chance to learn skills. Now, everyone says we should do these things because the communists are talking about them. I think we ought to do them because that's the way we build a better country. That's the way we build a better country. I read a story in the New York Herald Tribune yesterday morning that 14 of the delegates who had come from Africa to this country for the first time wanted the United Nations moved from the United States to another country because they had not been treated with courtesy here in this country. I want to build a strong society here, not merely because we sit in a goldfish bowl, but because by building a stronger society, we show we really believe in the cause of freedom. the matter is that the greatest slave master and colonial power in the world today is the Soviet Union, and should know I have never defended Western colonialism. In fact, I have criticized it when it existed in Indochina or Algeria or any other place in Africa. But therefore, I think that we're in a good position. As long as we maintain that we're for freedom wherever it may exist, I think we're in a very good position to demand an accounting of the Soviet Union, because it holds as a great... It holds as a colonial power not only the Baltic republics and Poland and Czechoslovakia and Hungary and Bulgaria and Romania. It holds as a colonial power countries within the boundaries of the USSR, countries which up to the end of World War I had a long tradition of freedom and independence, countries which have the Mohammedan religion, which are descended from the people of the Middle East, which had an ancient culture, which worship their own gods in their own way. And therefore it is only in recent years that the Soviet Union has extended its power to them to destroy their culture, destroy their religious freedom, destroy their traditions. It is within the boundaries of the Soviet Union, as well as in Eastern Europe, that the Soviet Union holds under its sway the greatest number of people that any colonial power has for many, many hundreds of years. And they hold them with little hope for freedom. The British, the French, the Belgians, however unfortunate their record may have been in the past, at least their countries now that they once held are moving into the sunlight of freedom. And within 2 or 3 years, 1/4 of all the nations of the General Assembly of the United Nations will be African, which 5 or 10 years ago were held by the colonial powers of the West. Now we ask the Soviet Union to do the same. Now we ask them to match their deeds with their words. Now we ask the Africans, who are now independent, to join with us in the fight against colonialism wherever it may exist, and whoever may be the colonial. It has been easy in recent years to make speeches for some people to audiences of Polish extraction. We denounced the Soviets. We talked about liberty. But the question is, what real contribution, what genuine contribution can we now make? Given the condition of the world, given the intransigence of the Soviet Union, what contribution can we make in 1960? What is the policy that the United States should follow? And I think that this is most important that we do so. For Mr. Khrushchev knows very well. He can read the signs of the times. He knows that the strongest tide that has swept the world since the end of 1945 is the desire of people to be free and independent. The African experience indicates it clearly. The Hungarian experience indicates it even more clearly. And so does the experience of Poland. These people are determined to be free. They have not accepted the idea that their culture, their religious heritage, their traditions can be destroyed by domination by a foreign power. Therefore, as long as that spirit remains alive, whether it's in Eastern Europe or whether it's in any other part of the globe, ultimately the communist empire is doomed to destruction. Poland is a satellite government, but the Poles are not a satellite people. We must strive to restore the traditional identification which Poland has had with the Western European community, which goes back into history, is tied by cultural ties. Poland has always looked to the West, never to the East, and therefore anything that we can do to encourage more intimate relations in France, Poland, Italy, and Poland, and the rest, I think is in the interest of peace and in the interest of maintaining an independent spirit. Some people will say that all this is a wasted effort, that the people of Poland, however brave, are in a prison from which there's no easy or early escape. But is this the reason to ignore their needs? Is this an excuse for inaction? Have we forgotten the words, I was hungry, and you gave me to eat, naked, and you covered me, sick, and you visited me, I was in prison, and you came to me.
Today, during this presidential campaign, there is one outstanding moral issue: civil rights.
what legislation do you have in preparation on the civil rights issue?
First, there's a good deal that can be done by the executive branch without legislation. For example, the President could sign an executive order ending discrimination in housing tomorrow. Secondly, the President could compel all companies which do business with the government to practice open, fair hiring of personnel without regard to race, creed, or color. I think that the failure of the President to indicate his endorsement of the Supreme Court decision has cost us heavily. I hope the next President of the United States states that he stands for equal rights, that he stands for a fair chance for all Americans to have a decent education, to get a job, and to hold it.